Until I stab myself in the head.
Is that one? No, wait. And welcome again to the man. We had to write another, make another link. My bad, everybody. Welcome to another East County Voices show. We're gonna send the link out right now to everybody. Sorry about that. My bad. Gotta let them know.
Okay. It happens.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, send me the YouTube link because I sent the wrong YouTube link.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat.
The new YouTube link?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll send it again right now too. There you go. Now it's twice. I'm about to post
There it is.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. Happy.
Hi, babies.
All right. Hold on. Dang. So.
See my babies?
Where?
Nothing right now.
Oh, yep. So freaking cute. Oh,
Oh my god, you can really see my gray hair tonight. What the hell?
beautiful.
Paste.
Mine's not showing. I think it's the way I did my bun.
Lucky
well,
you.
It won't paste it to anything.
I'm at the eve of 50, so 50 gray hair is not exciting to me.
I'm trying to paste this on here. Paste. There's no paste.
They'll find us because it'll pop up on YouTube as a live stream.
I could do this.
Won't they? Or do you do that manually?
There you go. I'll tag you guys in this. Tag your it. Let's see.
I got the notification that we were going live. So maybe we are live and just nobody's watching.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, we are.
We're live, all right. What's up? What's up, world? What's up, beautiful people? To anybody out there that's not watching yet, but when you do, we have these community conversations to talk about Antioch, Contra Costa County. It is on and popping and across the nation, and we're going to talk about it. We had an amazing Pride, a Flag Day that I want to hear about. I was there in spirit, but I saw, oh my God, there was a march. It was a huge march. March for Democracy.
Flag Day, yeah.
And come on, Antioch, we have a new superintendent finally, because if the community doesn't know, a lot went down in Antioch, and about 5 years ago, a lot of investigations took place. There was I don't think we'll ever know the gravity of how much misuse of funds transpired in the city and the school district and the police department, but we're here to talk about it. Yes. How you been, Mary?
You know, I'm finally recovering from being exhausted. You know, we did the March for Democracy, which happened to land on Pride or on Flag Day. It was me and Lee and Michael and Ronnie, and we met every week for months and months and months to get that all together. And I was so overwhelmed and happy to see how many people were there from all different walks of life, which just warmed my heart in ways that I didn't think it could be warmed.
Yeah, I saw.
Now we have nothing to do. What the hell?
Let's plan for another one. Let's do another one.
Well, there's supposed to be a No Kings 2.0, but I haven't seen any flyers. Have you guys seen any flyers?
No, but we can make some.
I'm sure Antioch PD would love me for that one.
Date, time, location, because that's our right to protest. And hello, speak up against things that are happening in our nation and in our communities. There was an article I read the other day by, I think it was Mercury News, about the recent like court hearing things with our Antioch Police Department with Amiri.
Oh, Amiri. That right, that dude. You know, you read the articles where he tried to attack the new chief of police, right?
Yeah, I didn't know that until like this year.
Yeah.
I didn't know
So
that.
he tried to attack the new chief of police because they were trying to take his dog.
Oh,
and then he was a flight risk. So when they arrested him and took him to court, they did it without bail. And he's only getting 7 years. And I want to know, is that 7 years going to count what the time he's already spent? Are they going to put him in general population? Are they going to put him in Pelican Bay or Corcoran, where he's with high risk criminals, but he's got his own cell for safety, like they did with Robert Downey Jr.? I mean, what are they doing with him?
That's the problem. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find the article and just skim through it, because the atrocities that transpired, all of the organized crime, abuse of power, civil rights and human rights violations, it's just crazy that he's getting 7 years. And like you said, they're probably going to give him less time. But that blue wall is so damn thick that these people are getting.
It's not even a line; it's a wall. You're right.
It's a wall. Blue wall. It's too thick. They're getting away with murder. Like, we'll never know. We'll never know. I got an email the other day for another lawsuit, though. It was from the Department of Justice. It was like one of the victims blind copied me, but I couldn't read the document, but it just warmed my heart that I'm like, okay, like, there's still families fighting that have not.
Oh, and they're still doing it. They did it, what was it, yesterday or the day before, Carlos, where a 26-year-old man from Palestine got shot in front of his house because he had a knife.
Was he from Palestine or India?
Palestine.
Yeah.
Well, so the news I've heard has not checked a lot of their facts. But I have a friend who knows the family, who was on the phone with them all day long, and that's where I got Palestine.
Oh.
And we're actually looking for advocates to help them at this point too. And I'm assuming that we could reach out to Frank and ask him, but I haven't got that far in my planning yet.
Okay, so that has to happen, absolutely. Because the community knows the Antioch Police Department officers killed another civilian that was armed with a knife, but they killed him. They killed another one.
Yeah, they killed another man, a man that just graduated from college. That they're blaming the family for calling, which the family is stating that they did not call. I didn't hear anything about the mental crisis unit. I haven't heard anything about that. I feel like the police department have that up there, and that's why they think it's a waste of funds, is because they just don't go for it. They just don't use it. I mean, and check this out. I'm sorry, I've got a lot going on in my head lately because I'm so stressed out.
Talk about it.
So the guy that was on the police car that went viral, that was naked.
Oh yeah.
Why did the police let that get posted? Think about it this way. He's having a mental crisis. They're going to lock him up from the mental crisis. And when he comes out, everybody's going to know about his mental crisis. Do you think that's going to help his mental health at all? That is just another person that was marginalized that they're using. Another person, a black or brown person that they're using for their own agenda.
And they have an Instagram, their Antioch Police Department Instagram, and whoever's behind it, like the language that they use is still fits their narrative, referring to other humans as.
Well, the other thing is it's obviously the body cam because the video on their Instagram starts in their cop car. What the fuck is that?
They celebrate this shit. Like, let me read this. APD. Wait, what is this? Oh, APD Films brings you an original cinematic masterpiece, a story of star-crossed lovers and their third wheel. This boyfriend and girlfriend duo and their flighty passenger started the romantic Saturday by enjoying some donuts together. Unfortunately, these three, nothing attracts a bunch of cops like a dozen donuts. Is this the one? No bars, lost control. It's like they celebrate. I hate the language that they use. It's just so sickening. Like,
so when so I got to be part of in the march that we did on Flag Day. I had a few people in the police department reach out to me and ask me, questions and stuff to make sure that our march was going to be peaceful and blah, blah, blah. And thankfully it all went down without a hitch. But one of the questions that I asked the police officer that was assigned to me was, who the hell is doing your social media? Because some of it is just not right. And he said that whoever they've hired there was a comedian. And I don't know that a comedian is who we need to be doing our social media posts for the Antioch Police Department with so many people that are already hurting.
Yeah.
And then I went to the NAACP meeting and they were talking about Juneteenth. And sure, they didn't make the police public at our march because I asked them not to. And I mentioned that the community was still hurting and we had a very respectful and good partnership. But nobody asked them to do the same thing at Juneteenth. And they had the police officers out there dancing and having a good time and everything. And people were still hurting from that. They didn't feel comfortable partying with these people. And that was brought up at the NAACP meeting. Mostly from the people that were in charge of mental health. And we're talking about the holistic hub for, the African Americans here in Antioch and in our county.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
People forget. The thing is, it's been 5 years since that investigation kicked off. 2020. It's been 5 years. It was this summer, 5 years ago, that I met you all beautiful people that we started organizing. But before then, Tamisha Torres, Frank Sterling, Catherine Wade. We had fighters in our little community years before 2020 and then beyond with the murders across the nation. But because 5 years passed and their attorneys have been fighting so hard to, justify their civil rights and human rights and racist agendas. And people online still say, oh, they've been charged. They're doing time. No, the hell they haven't. Maybe just
Come on, Lily.
Not enough.
Okay.
We need to look. We're going to make a campaign with our organizers to highlight what transpired from 2020 to now. Highlight and really provide all of the documents and links of the disgusting, horrific, horrible, racist, inhumane, unethical, irresponsible shit that they did, and remind people who they are, what they did, and they're still chilling. We don't know which ones are in the police department. We don't know.
No.
Some of them went up to the FBI and went higher. So
who?
One of the Back the Blue, one of her husband at the time of our protest, she was like, oh, I must behave. My husband has an interview with the FBI and he's doing a background, blah, blah, blah.
I know who you're talking about.
Should I say her name and their last name?
No, don't say her name.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
But I will post it.
Well, that's one thing. That's something. We don't want the liability here.
Yeah,
I have the screenshot. Follow my Facebook page.
I know you do. I know exactly who it is. But I don't think that I think that raising our voices is good.
Yes.
I think putting ourselves in a legal situation for defamation is bad.
Okay. Yeah, because what we do here, yeah. Say hi, Pinocchio. Yeah, we don't need defamations. We want to uplift our communities and just let people know what has transpired, what's happening. You know, what can we do to organize?
Yeah, so we need to be real careful. I mean, it's one thing to lift up a public official's name because you can't defame them.
Yeah,
It's another thing to lift up a civilian's name.
yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure. I let the department. I mean, I send it. The DOJ knows, and I reported.
Yeah, and that should know. And you know this most recent one where the young man was killed. The Department of Justice is already all over that. They're already doing a criminal investigation against the Antioch Police Department. I mean, it was that fast.
Yeah.
Which is a win in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Considering what was it before? It was years and years and years. How many years was it before we met Catherine and Frank? 12 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so community, if you're out there, you know, once we start sharing more, if we start a new campaign just to remind our communities of what transpired, like the timeline of events and where we're at now. When we get there, please share it. Please share it and let your friends and family know. Because the pain and suffering in our community is still very relevant and alive. And that's why we also need to just continue to advocate for the African American Holistic Wellness Hub. They should have one in every county in every state.
We should advocate for that, but we really need to advocate for keeping our mental health response team and utilizing them. As much as I love the idea of the mental health holistic hub, there's still I'm going to be quiet because I don't want people to be mad at me. But there's still a lot of things to work out there. But as far as the mental crisis team, that's something that we already have here that we need to be fighting for, because we have a council that would love to cut them out of the budget.
Them and their supporters.
Them and their supporters, right.
Yeah, I went back and forth with somebody and he was like, this is a new day for Antioch with this new administration. Like, really boasting that there's this fake narrative that they swear that the officers have been held accountable. They've all been charged already. Bullshit. They haven't.
No, they haven't. Very few of them have been. Hi, Tiki. I love you.
Miss Queen Tiki. Yes. Thank you for joining us.
Sorry about the mix up.
Yeah, with all these links.
Yeah.
I think I need to update that group chat. What else is new? We have a new superintendent here in the city of Antioch. Yay!
How do you guys do? Oh yeah, like that.
I can't do it because I'm holding my cell phone and I'm trying to catch a chicken.
Mary's throwing.
But I love you. What'd you say? I'm gangster?
No, I said Mary's throwing up gang signs.
Yeah. I don't even know if that's a real gang sign. I just did my teeth and did my fingers. That was probably really racially inappropriate. Somebody can put me on timeout against the wall later.
I missed it. Let's see.
Good. Good.
So what are you looking
Antioch
up?
officer. Get?
What are you looking up?
I'm looking up that article by was it Mercury or maybe it was
so Mercury Time, East Bay Times are the same. That's the one that did the article that you're thinking of. I read it too.
That's the one.
I'm gonna say that it was maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
And then also the Times Herald did an article.
Wait, are you talking about Antioch?
I guess, yeah. They did an article.
Oh, the 4th of July, my favorite holiday parade is coming up where Alan Payton looks lost while he marches through the street. Looks like a poor, lost little old man.
Yeah.
Come join me. We'll all laugh together.
Hey, he published something recently on a community member and used his
The
picture.
wrong image.
Yeah. He retracted it, made an apology, but the guy wrote in the comments, he's like, and then wrote his
I'm
own
safe.
comment, about, hey, I'm fine. I'm not, in jail. I was on vacation. That wasn't him.
Oh, that was for the road rage with the boats.
Yes.
That's crazy.
He's nuts. Did you guys all see the video of him knocking over a community member's garbage can and then going over and picking it up?
Yes.
That wasn't cool either. Lily, you gotta go to bed, dude. Come on. I'm done chasing you. Come on. Sorry. Just mute me. There we go.
Dang, I'm trying to pull up the article, but they're covering the murder of the Palestinian man that happened the other day. So I'm digging.
So you need to put in there Amiri. Like quote his name.
That's right.
Yeah, do a search for his name. Write Amiri and Antioch in the news on Google search and it will pop up for you.
There it is. The Mercury was a good one. So it was and it was 1 week ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. All right, it's gonna be real dark for a second. Oh, maybe not. It's gonna be real yellow for a second, apparently. All right, I'm gonna dip out for a second. I'll be right back.
Okay. San Francisco Chronicle. Yeah, there's everyone covered this, and this was a week ago. So this one was published the 24th. This is a San Francisco Chronicle, and I don't have a subscription to that one. 1 second.
Right? I know. I hate that crap.
CBS. Here we go. Former officer.
Round 4.
Now I'm on CBS. This is CBS, written by Jose Fabian, updated on June 24th, last week. So former Antioch police officer was sentenced for violating someone's civil rights through excessive force using his canine and other crimes, the U.S. Department of Justice said Tuesday. Morteza Amiri was sentenced to 7 years in federal prison for the following charges: violating someone's civil rights through excessive force, falsifying records in connection to the incident, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So yeah, he pulled over a cyclist. Mary approached the cyclist and punched him and took him to the ground. Then he called the canine to bite the victim. And
oh wow,
won't let me hit.
So I know you guys were saying, they should have called the team to come in and talk to him. But
back to that gentleman that passed away.
But they would probably say that he attacked the police before they had a chance to call, is what they would probably come back and say. You know what I mean? So and what other people would say too.
Well, Angelo Quinto had a knife.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, Angelo Quinto, I'm thinking about the knife. Like he was armed with a knife.
Yeah.
And they killed him. And yeah, they are gonna try to say that. That he
and I heard the news say that if they were going to investigate it, and if he didn't have a knife, then then further investigations with. I know you guys said the DOJ.
Okay, so let me recap on that for you real quick. So I have a friend whose significant other was a police department person in San Francisco, and she was telling me that that they are trained in the police academy to shoot.
Mary, where'd you go? Damn it.
Right? We was like, yes, and
and then I think what she's gonna say. Well, we'll wait for her to come back. But officers, they have tasers, right? Like
they have tasers.
They go to training and training and training and training, and they shoot a man. Like,
shoot a man with a knife. You know, it's, and I told Mary this too. I was like, I don't know if I had a taser and a gun, and a guy's coming at me with a knife, you know. But yeah, I mean, but there was a few officers there that you know, they could have tased him and
you know, I'm reading a local blog page with a shameful editor, and his language is, right now, Antioch police officers are investigating an officer-involved shooting that happened, but he won't mention that the Department of Justice is investigating them.
right.
That's who's investigating, because we know that the Antioch Police Department cannot investigate themselves. They didn't. And then we have a mayor who, under all of these civil rights and human rights violations, he turned a blind eye. And he's our mayor now. And he was the city manager during that time frame. I don't know. It's just crazy. It's crazy to me. But that's what the community voted for. That's what happened.
I know you and others have confronted him at council about that, and he just leaves it no comment.
And his wife too.
I would love to hear his story. I mean,
I would love to. Oh, you know what? I invited him. I asked him. I was like, "Hey, Ron," I was like, "You're welcome to come on the show." And he was like, "No, I'd rather talk in private." Like, yeah, no shit, because we'll ask you some tough questions, sir.
Yeah.
Why didn't you hold your police officers in the city while you were the city manager accountable? It's because they were barbecuing and chilling and having fun because they're all friends. Yeah. That's why.
He could even say no comment. I don't have to answer that. Yeah, I mean,
doesn't.
It would be nice to have him on there.
Yeah, I posted something and his wife went out of her way, like, to my Facebook and made a comment or said something, and I told her the same thing. I said, "Yeah, by the way, like, your husband needs to be in prison." That's just my opinion.
Oh.
Are you talking about King Pando?
Oh, him too. His other friend.
Talking about the mayor of Antioch.
Oh.
And his wife too. Yeah, Contendo, Stefaniello.
Anyways, can I go back to the stabbing thing?
Yes.
So they're wearing armor. They're wearing armor that can withstand the impact of a bullet. Why would it not be able to impact this, if for a life-threatening injury, the impact of a knife? So why do they need to shoot somebody 7 times because of a knife?
Right.
They shot him 7 times?
That's my understanding.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah, my other understanding is he was following the directions of the police officers when the police officers shot him.
So they show the video, they don't play the audio.
No, they don't play the audio.
I saw that video where it looks like he's going towards them.
Yeah.
Right, but they can't post that because that's the admissible evidence that's going to burn the Antioch Police Department.
Hello, Bradley.
Hey, Sean.
Bradley, aka Sean. How are we doing? How are you doing? We're trying to figure out.
Well, why are you never on the show anymore?
Who, Sean? Gotta get
Sean needs to be on the show all the time.
Yeah, we'll have to get him back.
We also need Andrew. I want to hear from Andrew real soon.
Andrew's my favorite. Andrew should tell us about what's going on with Home Key, because they finally do. 4-1, Ron voted no.
I know.
Ron.
I don't know.
Oh, and I'm also very surprised that all 5 city council members made it to Juneteenth. Because I thought that Ron only went to activities that were religious.
Ron was there?
Yeah, there's a picture of him. At Juneteenth, they got all 5 of them on the stage at once.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was really interesting. Anyways, I didn't go to Juneteenth. I did all my white people Juneteenth celebrating in the background, but it wasn't a holiday for me, and I wasn't going to show up and assume that it was. My respect was for the people that were celebrating, and happy that they that they have this holiday, that they have the retribution from it. They still need to be compensated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
I still feel like there's ways for me to support it, but not. I don't think that I should be there. I think that would be a
Oh,
slap in the
Mary.
face.
No, that's your working on my new channel. Ooh, interesting. Well, Mary, thank you. Big shout out to you for always using your white privileges in spaces that your voice means so much. Like, and just, you're being very sensitive to such like an important holiday that needs to be continuously federally recognized for the atrocities that happen to the beautiful Black families, African American people for generations. And so by compensation, I agree. And it's reparations, aka
Reparations.
compensation. There's still, y'all have heard me say this a million times, that there's no amount of money that can make up for the injustices in education and the criminal justice
system. There's nothing that can. There is nothing that can
in
apologize
care,
or even be forgiven for the horrible things that we've done to the African American or the Black community.
Yeah.
Zero.
So if the government out there can give, like some fat tax write-off, huge home buyers, like.
But you know what they're going to have to do if they do that, Patty? And I'm going to just be real honest with you.
Free college.
Is if they give reparations to everybody on the continent that's of Black or slave lineage today, they need to do it for every single one of their unborn children too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm down. I like that. Yeah. In government positions, like, it's just this system is just intentionally continuing.
What would a price be, though? I mean, how could you?
There's no price. There's no price. And I still want to know what they did with the Japanese in their internment camps. Like, what was the apology for that? They never got their homes back.
Right.
Hi, sweetheart.
There was an apology. It was minimal. Similarly, like with the Native Americans,
it was minimal. And the fact that Antioch, which is really like 118,000 people, was the first to say sorry to the Chinese immigrants.
Yeah,
we're disgusting,
right? Yeah, Lamar did that, right?
Yeah.
So I've been playing with AI, and if Catherine pops on, it'll be fantastic. But I've been playing with AI and asking questions about local history for Juneteenth, and both Leslie May and Catherine popped up as advocates for social justices for Black and brown people, Black people specifically, police violence, so forth. But the answer when I said, who was the biggest advocate Antioch has ever had for Black people, Lamar came up.
Where was this? AI?
I just asked AI. I asked ChatGPT. And Tamisha was on there too as number 3. But it was really interesting because the AI had her name as Diana.
That's weird.
Yeah, I had to tell AI that they had her name wrong.
Nicole is going to join us, another amazing community advocate, but she's going to join in the background.
Okay.
I just sent her the link. I love the leadership in our community.
In the background?
Yeah.
All right. Check the chat real quick. I sent something funny right now.
You sent it to the Facebook.
Oh, we lost her.
It was Miss Catherine Wade's. Who did? What is this?
I knew you'd like that. I was like,
who did this?
No, he's going to be in a dunk tank.
Well, he's going to need the money for the lawsuit he's about to get.
I know.
Can I show this?
Yeah, show it. 4th of
What
July,
is that?
We got Mr. Payton is going to be in a dunk tank.
Oh, I'm going to spend my whole paycheck on that.
I would spend like 50 cents.
Oh, man, I want to just dunk his ass in his ruffly jackets.
Dang.
and his homophobic opinion pieces and his trash talking anybody who doesn't agree with him. I just want him gone.
You know what? If he does get sued, this would be his second lawsuit that I know of. Because the first one, he had to pay. Let me find this article real quick. But
it was a long time ago. It was like $70,000? Was that what it was?
So he's a former councilman, you know, obviously still in the mix with his homies that are running this. So yeah, so Antioch councilman, so former. This is from 1998. Paying fine $72,000. Penalty stems from false business ads. Antioch councilman and state assembly candidate Alan Payton is paying a $72,000 penalty to resolve false advertising claims against his weight loss business. So this is
he's a little sneaky.
He is. The thing is, do y'all remember after the insurrection that happened in 2000 and what year was that? Damn.
I don't remember anything before 2015.
Oh, I know. But he posted a picture at the White House in his American, like that. It's the same like USA jacket. It's kind of tacky, kind of funny. But after the insurrection,
it sounds like a Kenny thing.
To take his selfie. Oh yeah, where is Kenny?
AI also said that Kenny was the biggest embarrassment to Antioch ever.
No way. I would say
I was having a lot of fun. They had to cut me off. They said I was asking too many questions.
Don't you get like 3 questions or something like that a day? Or
no, you get like 10 or something.
Oh.
And I was on it.
So if I asked, did Stephanie Anello get fired from the Antioch Unified School District? What will AI tell me? Will it give me the whole spill?
Oh yeah, it'll give you everything. It'll go through. It'll give you people's opinions. It will give you all sorts of stuff.
You have ChatGPT, or I don't know. That's the only one I know.
Yeah, ChatGPT is what I was playing with. You know, I feel guilty though because I know they use a lot of water, but I just had to, and then it was good for me because I could pull up stuff about Juneteenth, and then I can cross reference and like do my own research.
Yeah,
research is key. To anyone out there, Google documents, research. We need, in order for us to make like positive change and impact, we really have to understand the complexities of the injustices, misuse of funds, federal violations, all of that, to understand like the systemic changes that we need to make. We're after systemic change. It's going to take a long time. It took Antioch a long time to get to where we did, but you know, Pinocchio, get out. Go. Bye. Goodbye.
And the public has access to a lot of these records and all that too that she's talking about. So.
Oh yeah. Well, like they'll go through Google searches, they'll go through news articles, they'll cite the sources. I mean, there's all sorts of like you could go down such a rabbit hole. And trust me,
consolidate everything and put it all in an interactive timeline of the city of Antioch.
Oh, weren't we talking about that like back in January?
Yes.
And we did. It's just too much. My new gig that I want to do, because you know I have to have efforts going somewhere, is I want to write a piece about the effectiveness of Antioch's Humane Society, the animal shelter, the changes that are being made, the oversight, the challenges because of the oversight. And just humans in general that need to take better responsibility for their animals and not dump them. But that's my new thing. That's my new passion. So I'll get there, and then maybe we could talk to some people, or I'll get the approval to answer questions based on the information I find out.
Yeah.
Because they're run by the Antioch Police Department.
Interesting.
Yeah, so when you see like the dogs and stuff getting euthanized, those are orders from the chief of police.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and that's there's behind the scene things that need to come up that people don't understand, because they love to rip into the Antioch Animal, Society or shelters or whatever it's called, without knowing the differences. And there's differences between like what a municipal animal shelter like Antioch can do versus to something that's a nonprofit like the SPCA. So like the SPCA can transfer dogs out, transfer animals out, or reject them. Where a municipal one, they have to, if somebody comes and drops a dog off and they say it's a stray, it has to be held for 10 days if there's room or not. So what happens to the animals that they don't have room for? They pray to God that they're going to be, I love you too, Nicole. I pray to God that they would,
we were at Juneteenth.
Yeah, I wasn't. That they would, be able to turn people away or whatever. But what happens is if they don't find rescues and stuff to take the animals, they're put in a situation where they're having to euthanize healthy dogs, healthy cats, because of municipal laws. And these are all the things that are trickling down from the police department. So if the police department says, hey, you need to get rid of X amount of dogs to make room for new dogs, they have to kill healthy dogs, or they have to find fosters, and they're given like short periods of times to do that. And these are things that the public just is like completely, not told. So I'm going to write my own documentary on a piece of paper and try to start some communications about that. I don't know if you remember several years ago when I was trying to advocate for Meathead, the homeless man's dog that got put down. But I'm still not off that topic.
Yeah. No,
but I found some people that have opened up and started talking to me, so that's good.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
¿Qué más? I think I saw it was Miss Catherine Wade's birthday recently. If I read that correctly, it popped up on my Facebook, and she's such a queen and been through so much. And if anybody sees her or sees her on Facebook, always send her love and her flowers. She lost 2 sons. One was brutalized for years, like multiple times, hunted and harassed by the Antioch Police Department. And then the other son died of sickness, heartache, heartbreak. But she's such a strong woman. I really admire her for her strength and courage and the years that she spent advocating for her son.
Yeah. See, that's another person that's never going to get peace, no matter what happens, what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
It's just, it's sad. And I was thinking about Oscar Grant's mom. And even though she turned it into something positive, it's still really,
yes.
I just can't even imagine that. Or Frank just posted about a woman who lost her son to police brutality that died of a brain tumor. Did you see that today? But that's a woman that died without justice.
Oh, wow. I see. Her son was murdered also?
Yeah, her son was taken out by the police department. I don't know if it was Antioch or not, but it was her only child, and she ended up having a brain tumor, and he's advocating to keep fighting for this family, even though the family, has passed away.
Yeah.
So I really took this to a dark place, didn't I?
No, it's okay. It's the sad injustices that our communities continue to face. It's just I just keep thinking about their Instagram and like the disgusting celebratory hunting of
Oh
people.
yeah.
And a lot of times when they, especially if it's like a person of color, African American, they put it on there and their narrative is so inhumane and minimizing how we got to where we are as people, as struggling families.
Yeah, why wasn't that person's identity concealed? Why was it put out there that way before there was a trial? Or
stir up their following, to rile up their people that celebrate the hunting, harassing of our community. Like,
yeah, do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Carlos.
Another beautiful community advocate. What's up? Happy Wednesday.
Thank you. You know I got outreach, so I'm getting to the house like an hour ago. So I thought I would tune in, check y'all out. How y'all doing? Patty, I haven't seen you in forever.
I'm here, busy. I'll see you soon.
I know. I missed you.
I miss you
all
too.
y'all.
I do too.
I see Carlos. I be seeing him at the meetings and stuff. I didn't see you at the Juneteenth though, Carlos. I saw you later on. You got some footage of it. But
I know you see a lot of me, but you can still miss me too, damn it.
I miss you. I miss all y'all because we go to the city council meetings, and then kind of there dealing with that, and then we really don't have much time to like just connect and catch up and check on each other like that. So I know Miss Leslie May, and I know Erica, she's another, they're advocates out here. Like just a bunch of us, we've been trying to like make sure we get together and hang out outside of just all the hectic stuff and all the stuff that's going on, because y'all all know that advocates, like we go through it. Like it's really stressful when you really focus on politics. Not a lot of our friends and family are into it like we are. So they're like, what's going on? So it's always good to do that. So we got to do that soon. Definitely.
Yes.
You guys invited me last time. That made me happy. I love seeing you guys all in like a happy place.
What'd you say? You said we didn't what?
I said you guys invited me. I loved it.
Oh yeah, because you were there too. Oh, but you didn't go with us to Tailgaters though after the fact. That's where the fun was at right there.
Well, I need to take a break from Tailgaters, right, Patty?
Okay, I think we're ready for another round.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, it was fun though. That was a good time. We were celebrating the home key, the city putting home key through, at least, going through with the application that our friend Andrew Becker has been fighting for years. So once we did that, we were like, we got to celebrate. So we went out and we had a great time. So
did Andrew show up?
No, I think he was still busy. Like there was still a deadline. There was some stuff that they needed to do to make sure that they were ready. And for, the application, everything, I think a couple days later, he just called me and updated like everything is good. So
that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
He's been calling me, trying to get me to adopt kittens.
Who, Andrew?
Oh yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm full. I got enough cats.
Oh, okay. So he's going into that. It was housing, and now he's doing. What does he have them? He
lives in a neighborhood that has feral cats, and he's constantly trapping and catching kittens and trying to rehome them.
Oh, that's good.
And he's been doing it for years, and he's figured out what colors I like. And he'll call me and he'll be like, I got a new black one. And I'm
He
like,
takes
go
pictures and
away.
he sends
And
it.
he'll go away. Yeah, I have pictures.
Oh God.
Oh,
We
I'm
should,
like, stay away from me,
talk
stay away.
Home
Oh
Key.
my
That would be good
goodness.
to talk about, like have an episode, talk about the fight that y'all did, that we did to get some kind of housing justice in our community.
Yep.
But yeah, I would say Andrew is probably the subject matter expert that
Yes, definitely.
yeah. It's
Yeah,
come to
he was, it was a long, it was like, no. And even though he had support, I know Tamisha has been supporting him and us for a long time with that. And we just never were able to get the votes. And you kind of think, I still ask myself, even with the last council, I've talked to our former mayor about that, at the time. I just never really understood why we never did it. This one was a little bit more, I won't say difficult, because I was kind of like iffy about it. Well, free money is free money, right? But at the same time, this round of Home Key was for folks with behavioral health issues. So even though we have a lot of folks that are like that on the streets, they have to have that like medical, that record in order to get into this program. But yeah, I mean, the more housing, the better. Like, I'm not gonna lie. The more housing we get, the better. I don't care how we get it, where it comes from. We also got the executive in. They extended that contract for another 18 months. So we got folks getting in there too. So I'm just really thankful, like, that the city is doing stuff. Frito, like, really surprised me that he was,
Greatest?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Greatest, not Frito.
Yeah. His name is very difficult for me to say, so that's just what I call him, no disrespect. But no, he really
I've wasted hours of therapy on him.
Yeah, he surprised me. He really did. But yeah, I'm just happy that it went through. And we're doing what we need.
And he put you on the spot too when you thanked him. He's like, we all got this on video, right?
Mm-hmm. He's like, so when Miss Gardner comes up here, and I'm like, look, and y'all was just talking about Ron too. Yes, he was at the festival, and I met his wife in person for the first time, and gave him hugs or whatever. And I'm like, she was like, oh, you're the one who always gets on my husband or something like that. And I was like, girl, don't worry about it. I get on everybody. So it just is what it is. You signed up for the job. Like, you're the mayor now. The only difference between this mayor and the last one was that I was friends with him. So he got it over the phone. Like, I didn't have to do that in person. I didn't have to go up there and cuss him out or do none of that. Like, I was just on the phone cussing him out. And there was a lot of hang-ups, like, nigga. So it was a lot of that. So he got it too. So a lot of people be like, I know Lori was saying that too, when Sean Wright was the mayor, you were up here yelling at him, but then now Lamar is the mayor, you're not. I'm like, girl, he gets it. He gets it way worse than y'all, like for hours at a time, let alone the 5 minutes we have them, or 3 minutes we have them, we're up there. So, but yeah, it was good. Everything. I'm glad the council seems to be moving in a good direction for the most part.
And that, honestly, that's what advocates do. Advocates will speak up and say what they need to say, because closed mouths don't get fed, and we have to let it off our chest. That's just how we are.
Absolutely.
I love you all for that.
Absolutely. And I'm one, like, I don't be holding grudges either. Like, so if I see you at an event, I have no problem with speaking to you, shaking your hand, how you doing. Even with the police, the APOC, Anti-Police Oversight Commission, I got into it with the chair on that commission.
I remember that. I watched
in public.
I was rooting for you when I saw that.
I got into it with her a couple of times, but at the same time, outside of it, because I'm cool with her sister too. I went to school with her sister. So outside, I had to message her sister and let her know, like, this is politics. Like, she signed up for the job and I'm the advocate. So this is the only person that I can come to about this. But I could see her at an event and we could be just as cordial and cool as, I don't know what. So I just hope that people just know, just because we're advocates and we go up there and do this, don't mean we rah-rah. Like, I'm not gonna cuss you out in public, in a public spot. Like, that's just not me. So, but it's good that we're here
Yes.
doing our thing, and we've got a lot freaking done. I'm telling you, over the last how many years? 5 years or whatever, we've got a lot done. So I'm proud of each and every one of us. Yes. Really, we've been doing great work.
Yeah, and we're gonna keep going. We really have a tight ass crew of advocates in Antioch. It's different. It's different. We still have that project to campaign and let the rest of the nation know what went down here, because if we don't, they're just going to continue business as usual in communities across the nation that are afraid to speak up on what they see. They like know something's wrong, but they can't put their finger on it. We did. We uncovered that. We took the cloak off of these motherfuckers. I'm sorry.
No, that is so true.
The hood, the cloak.
Yeah. So what do y'all think? I mean, I don't know how much time we have left. I came on late, but what do y'all think? I mean, about the police department, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? With the new chief, do you guys have faith in this chief, in the officers? They hired have a lot of new recruits. They're younger. What y'all thinking about? Hey, Tamisha, girl.
Hello. Let's extend the time for another 30 minutes. We go for another hour.
I'm good.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that
can we get that question to Tamisha?
Do we want to talk about V-Hill? I think V-Hill is nice, but I think the proof is always in the pudding. We got to see what he does.
Right. And then just in general, I know Tamisha was saying before when I was at the council meeting, like I was excited too, seeing all the new recruits. And then they're actually, just from an advocate perspective with the homeless and unhoused, even the code enforcement, I've seen a change. So I'm interested to hear what y'all think.
I hate code enforcement.
My thing
I just want to let you know they measured my grass and I don't like them.
Can you put this in the microwave?
I love the grass, it's flowers.
I love the new hires, but yeah, what do you think? Yes, welcome. Nice to see you. Tell us.
You know what I would
Carlos was like, hop on and say hi. He didn't say that I was gonna be.
You already know.
I mean, to the credit of code enforcement, I think we really need to investigate a lot of the city policies. Like we still operating on like a general plan from 2003, policies from 1979. So we need to really address those. But to the conversation around Joe V-Hill, the new chief. I mean, being a new chief in his profession, with the time he's had in law enforcement, like he is a new chief. So we have to give him time to see what is the turnaround going to be like for this police department. I think that I always say relationship move at the speed of trust. And so we still working on that a lot in the city, and the department is still under a lot of scrutiny, still facing a lot of lawsuits. Actually could be under 2 more potential stipulated agreements with additional requirements. And so I think we have to give our new chief some time, give the new officers, new recruits some time. Laterals haven't worked in Antioch before, so we got to get them some time. New recruits have to really, I think like a lot of people are worried about customer service, their reaction and response to the community, especially if they don't live here. But also we have a lot of new recruits who actually grew up here in Antioch. And so we could either look at that as a good thing or the potential for, I think a lot of people's concern is like, if they grew up here, are they ready for things to change, or are they like the next generation of the old guard? And I think that like we have to really consider all options. And so I think that's what I would say about it. I'm trusting our new chief just because we have a relationship that kind of budded even before Antioch when we did work together in Richmond. So, I'm hoping that things work out related to the police department, but that doesn't mean that we need to assess all of the global issues that could impact our communities right now, which I'm like worried about alligator Auschwitz and
yeah,
it got flooded today.
deportations. It did, which should be a sign from God for all of our like Christian folks out there. Like this is a moral issue. So immigration, over 18 million young people losing access to affordable lunch in school, like food programs, SNAP programs going away, the decimation
elderly
of
aren't going to get health care.
the decimation of food banks, right, and healthcare. And so these, I know when people are looking at this, they're like, oh, that's up there. But really, it's going to deeply impact us here on the community and the ground. And so we really need to be thinking deeply about what is the responsibility of local municipalities to start meeting these needs, as well as at the state level. If you all remember, during the pandemic, schools actually fed more kids and families and community than they've ever have. And then nonprofits and churches had to step in and fill the gap for a lot of resources, right? Are we approaching another time where we need to like mobilize as community and do mutual aid and actually make up for where our local governments often allow vulnerable community to fall through the cracks? So I'm just following everything carefully. Hopefully Congress has a conscience, but I'm not counting on that right now.
So the Senate doesn't. We got to wait for the House. The House, we're really hoping.
The House, I'm not holding out hope for that, but we'll see.
I know. It makes me want to vomit. I had the worst panic attack on earth yesterday because of this whole damn thing. The very worst. Yeah.
I think people would say focus locally, focus on Antioch, don't worry about all of this other stuff.
So I think that
and this other stuff impacts us here in Antioch, and we got to be worried about that.
So I think the campaign needs to be, you don't know what your privilege does if you haven't been affected by it. Was that what it is? Is that what the saying is? Something about because there's no empathy. There's no empathy, especially of people that look like me, because they haven't felt the things that are being taken away from us. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be taken away, and they're going to feel it now, because the only people that are going to have privilege in a hot minute are going to be old white men with lots of money. Mm-hmm.
Or maybe just the 84 billionaires in this country. Like we are not the 1%. I think, Mary, to your point, people who look like you are also not doing well. Right. So I think we gotta be real about this conversation around poverty in white communities, white rural communities. Like it is not like the face of poverty is not black and brown.
It sure is not.
No, but
Nicole, right. And Nicole, you do a lot of work with unhoused folks in the community. Depending on what community you go to, like the face of homelessness in Antioch is predominantly white, right? And so we have to, white and veteran and senior, right? And so I think for people to, just to not be black or not be indigenous or not be brown is not enough. Like we're all poor working class folks. People losing these benefits, being stripped away at the national level is really going to encroach on the quality of life here locally in Antioch. And because we've had so many struggles, we got to really think about what does that mean for our community that is, predominantly like Latinx. Like there's a lot of undocumented and documented folks of all ethnicities and races in Antioch. And so we really have to consider what that means for our community.
I had a really interesting observation. I've been driving my kids back and forth to summer school over at Antioch High School. And I never really thought about this before, but the only thriving shopping center that I think Antioch really has is right there off of A Street, and it's all Hispanic businesses. Have you guys noticed that? And I think it's traditionally there's more community in the Hispanic and Latinx.
Well, I mean, also when you're the only grocery store in town, like we also have to consider that District 1 in particular, we lost Lucky's, we lost Grocery Outlet a few years back. Cielo came in, and then Antioch Grocery came in to fill those gaps. And though although Cielo is now here, which is great because we need local grocery stores, and Antioch Grocery is here. I don't shop there because I can't afford it.
Right. But if you look at the spaces there, every single door has a business in it. I mean, it's it's
people. I mean, it's not. And Rite Aid is leaving. I know we've all seen it. Rite Aid is closing down. There, and it's not just in Antioch, so I don't want people to go crazy. Like Rite Aid is going through like bankruptcy. I was in communication with somebody from corporate last year, a couple phone calls trying to figure out what we can do around keeping our Rite Aid in District 1, and then all of the phone calls just stopped. And then all of a sudden you see somebody on the corner with a sign that's like, hey, going out of business sale. But and then like the narrative is,
I think the one over on the Lone Tree side of town is going out of business too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like it's because they're going through bankruptcy, they're having a lot of challenges. This kind of market has never really recovered from the pandemic, and so I think we have to be careful about the narratives because people will be like, oh, this is on the council and we didn't do enough, and homelessness and retail theft. And although those have been lifted up as challenges in the past and even currently, the reality is a lot of these industries they're going out of business. They're facing bankruptcy. They've never really recovered, and they have spent decades trying to figure out how to stay in place. Yeah, and now they're not. So we need a new vision for Antioch.
But people got smarter too. Like a lot of entrepreneurial businesses that have invested in holistic approaches of their own, like beauty products, homemakers, bakers. There's been a whole wave of people that just got smarter and like, you know what, we're not going to spend like $30 or $40 on some basic. Walmart got expensive. So all you entrepreneurs out there, keep going, and shout out to the Antioch Council for investing in community entrepreneurs with the business programs. We need to keep doing that and break this monopoly of these big old corporate industries.
Well, I think that we're about to encroach into something that we're not used to. Is we're going to be the major capitalist industries, the Targets and the Walmarts and the Lowe's and the Home Depot and all these ones that they're boycotting. I think that these are going to be industries that disappear, and we're going to have to go back to something. I mean, where are you going to get your dirt to plant your tomatoes?
I would trade with you, Mary. I would trade with all you. I would trade some lemons for some tomatoes.
Okay.
Well, I think people need to really consider like what's possible to be grown locally and naturally without having to purchase soil. Before I bought my home here in Antioch, they had a website where I was able to figure out what kind of climate I was going to live in, what could be actually grown in the soil here, even though it's like kind of clay type of soil, which helped me figure out like what could happen. And so I think like bartering systems, how do we come together in this time, is people have talked about it more anecdotally, but it's going to be really important, especially in a time when our food banks are actually not going to have food, right? We have organizations like Nicole's organizations and other organizations that give food to people who are unhoused or low income or seniors or elderly or disabled, to like make up the gap for people on fixed incomes where like those food programs are being attacked right now. So like, where's that food gonna come from? Which is why we need to invest more in community farms and community gardens where we can grow the food as a community locally, and be able to have that food available in the community for free, for no cost. And all it would take is like our sweat equity, right? Our labor as a community. I think like I don't want to fear monger for people, but if we don't get out ahead of some of what's going on, it's going to be a challenge in not just 3.5 years, because whatever is going to happen in this big but ugly bill, we're not even going to see the results of it until 2026, 27, and 28.
Because we have resources. I mean, we have a master's learning garden here in Antioch at the fairgrounds that people don't even know about. That you can go to Wednesday. They open it up to the public, and they can teach you all sorts of things about your own soil, what you can grow, irrigation, all sorts of stuff. And we just, these are just things that we don't. They have free classes and everything. I mean, these are just things that we don't tap into, that we don't talk about, that aren't publicized.
And then we
just got the numbers back in Antioch saying our point in time count is lower than it was the last point in time count, but it's still pretty high. Well, imagine what's going to happen. Imagine what's going to happen when people can't pay rent. What's going to happen when people can't, we talked about retail theft and retail crime over the last 2 years. What do we think is going to happen when people can't buy food, can't afford food?
They're paying $3,300 to rent a single family home. They're getting a job that's minimum wage at $20 an hour, and now we've got this government that just doesn't give a shit about us.
Side note. Shout out to Coco Sustainable Farm. They're in Martinez, and they have a whole system. They've been doing it for like almost 10 years now. If they could replicate that and share it with the surrounding cities, we'd be golden. And then for the financial issues, we have still going on the guaranteed income. It's got a different name now, but Contra Costa County, that's coming to families. It's going to be limited, but it's going to be an extra resource of finances for struggling families. And that's going to come. But best believe that there's going to be people with their narratives hating on uplifting struggling families. They've already started. They're going to always twist and do what they do. But as communities, we need to truly understand that the cost of living is insane. And if we want to work together, we need to uplift those most vulnerable, because that's coming to Contra Costa County. It got approved. We fought for that and we got it. We just make sure it goes to the right. It goes where it goes. And
well, are we still going to get the funding for it? I mean, is it a state-funded program? Is it a federal funded program? What kind of program is it? Where are the funds coming from? Because if we approve something,
was a big part of it.
Yeah.
And our own tax.
Yeah, Measure X funding. Measure X.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what can we do? Because y'all, Tamisha, I know you say you don't want to scare nobody, but look, now we talking about making our own food, girl. I'm trying to think about my backyard, like shit. I'm like, wait, hold on. Yeah.
You mean you're not a farmer yet, Nicole?
So what can we do? I know we talked about, growing your own food. You just talked about Measure X and some funding that's already so what can we really do, like as a city? And you did say like not really focus on the federal stuff. Let's try to focus on Antioch. I mean, we can only do what we can do, right? And so I'm just trying to think, like, because when you just brought up those food banks too, and I'm thinking about how many of our unhoused friends on the streets like take advantage of that food bank being open, like just getting as much food as they can. And like you said, in between we'll serve, but that is going to be devastating. I mean, it's people that have homes, pay rent. Yeah, they're struggling, but they still wait in them long lines too. So I'm just like, what else can we do? Like, I mean, even
isn't it going to extend across from not just homeless people, but to people that are on EBT?
I don't know how fast.
Well, SNAP benefits, of course, but I think the thing that we have to realize is that this big but ugly bill, we're not going to actually start seeing the impacts until mid 2026, 27, 28, right? Like we have to start preparing for the fallout over the next 9 to 10 years, right? This isn't going to end in the next presidential election if this thing gets through the House, right? So I think long range planning, right? So like making sure we're preparing people now, having education forums, talking about, breaking it down for people. Most people aren't going to read a 1,500 page document, right? Like making information accessible is the most revolutionary thing you could do in a community, right?
And it's almost impossible to get a hold of that document because I haven't been able to get a hold of it yet.
But there are a lot of people breaking it down for us, right? And so how can we as like local activists like put our sweat equity into like making it plain for our community is like, what will the impact be over the long haul? And like, how can we kind of like pull together, right? It can't be like we knew we could never keep up with the Joneses, but now the Joneses is about to be one of us, right? So they need to like, we need to figure out how even our folks in Southeast Antioch who bought $500,000 homes, almost $1 million homes, like what moral compass do they have? Like what capacity do they have to know that like
that's
when you're most
that's horrible.
Right.
Those $500,000 homes, if you drive past them, they got big old signs saying that they go to Brentwood schools. Why the hell are they going to Brentwood schools?
Well, because like Andrew said in a city council meeting, is you moved to Antioch, but they sold you Brentwood.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. And I'm like right there on the edge where they didn't sell me Brentwood, but my neighbors 2 streets over are in Brentwood schools. And I'm like, what the hell? Why are they doing that? Why is that money not coming back to us? I mean, Carmen Dragon, the school that's in our area, has so many empty classrooms.
On the bright side, we have a new superintendent.
Yeah.
We do have a new superintendent who I got the opportunity to meet. I'm excited about the direction that the district is going to be going in, and the opportunities that we can create more community, community schools, more of a connection with the city and the district. Because like I said, when everything shakes out of what's happening at the federal level, it's going to take all of us to pull together. Like the fighting is going to have to stop. Congressman Garamendi had a town hall. Of course, I went to that. Some of it I agree with. Some of it was just kind of like colonial state-ish. But like, especially when it came to like immigration and borders, it's just like colonialism at its best. But like, really, one of the things that not Congressman Garamendi, but Congressman Mark DeSagne said to our mayor was like, we know that we can't serve our people well by cutting everything and gutting everything, that the way we serve people is about doing an assessment, doing an analysis, and figuring out how we reach a level of productivity, which was pretty interesting to hear him say to our actual mayor who was there, because the entire budget process has been about cutting and gutting, right? And so for a congressman, not Garamendi. Garamendi is our congressman. Antioch is so weird. We share 2 supervisors. We share 2 Congress members. We just don't have any clear direction around political, who supports us at all levels, whether it's local, Senate, Congress, Assembly. We don't know who our people are, right? And I keep saying Garamendi because I know he is our congressperson, and Mark DeSagne is also our congressperson. But when Mark said that to the mayor, it was interesting to me because I'm like, man, I wish our congress member would have had that conversation with our mayor while we were going through the budget process. Right, because he literally was like, said to our mayor, we know that we don't get there by cutting from our most vulnerable community members. We get there through doing an assessment and reaching a point of efficiency, right? Because he didn't agree with the whole Doge thing. Who was pretty interested in me, and I tracked because that's what's been happening. Because that's what's been happening here in Antioch during the budget process. I mean, if we're like as legislators and policymakers locally, like the worst thing we could do now, given what's happening at the federal level, is devastate our community by making more cuts. And eliminating more key people in our community that's serving our most vulnerable community members. So I'm waiting to see, like, really.
We definitely have some diaper John Juniors, don't we?
Well, I think it was pretty interesting. The community has spoken several times where people have, people at the dais have said, oh, when we start talking about CIP, when we start talking about code enforcement, this council is going to be packed. It has not been packed. But every time we talked about the Department of Public Safety and Community Resources and taking away resources from there, that council chamber has been packed. So when you say you had a mandate, right? When people say, like, I had a mandate, which definitely sounds like Trumpish, right? But like, you have a mandate that people elected you to. Well, the people who are coming to you and vocal about what they want to continue to receive from the city, that is also a mandate, right? Like, how do you continue to make that happen in a way where we can still reach a level of efficiency and like make sure that we deal with this deficit? Antioch hasn't done true economic development since the recession. It has not happened.
No.
Nobody can lie to you. All Antioch has done is build housing. That's it.
Yep.
And so what we are dealing with right now,
that's out of our medium income.
Right. So what's happening in Antioch right now is that the deficit that we're facing, which is a projected deficit, which means it's based on revenues staying the same and not increasing, which that cannot be truly predicted. But like, at the end of the day, Antioch has not invested in economic development since coming out of the recession. And so now we're dealing with the fallout of that. And so how do we start to think about economic development in a city that is has been projected to face
are we talking about? Because we've been slammed by more than one recession. I mean, are we going back to the 90s?
No, not the 90s, but I definitely will tell you that I found out a couple things today that I won't kind of reveal around how the city got itself into a lot of debt, even during the 90s, that we still paying for today.
Wow.
So we got into a lot of debt during the 90s that we still paying for today. We went into the most recent recession, which I think the city came out of it in 2016, 2017. And then from there, we went straight into a pandemic. This city has not deeply invested in economic development, but we have invested in building housing.
Yep.
Side note. So you know about the like investment into the communities. There's people out there with these narratives. I'm gonna quote this. So, according to the agenda, the 3.5 million program would serve just 170 people over an 18-month time period. The thing is, it's not just 170 people. That's 170 families with children, grandparents, households. So this is bullshit. No, it's not just 170 people. No,
see, that's the thing is when you're reading the news, you got to like really look at it, because I think a lot of people are writing stories without doing the full research. Because even, I mean, think about it. We're talking to Tamisha here. I say a piece, Nicole says a piece, Patty says a piece, and Tamisha's got something new. And we're just like, what the hell? We think we're fighting for something.
Patty,
we're not always what we're fighting for.
Well, Patty, what we're dealing with is people who don't recognize or who refuse to see residual impact as something that matters. And so think about it. When we deal with gun violence in our community, for every one homicide, we probably spend over $5 million, right? That's just baseline. However, people think about it as like, oh, the victim and the perpetrator. No.
How we got there.
The effect of violence isn't just the victim and the perpetrator, it's everybody in that community, right? So if we think about our most recent police involved shooting, people are thinking about the individual who was shot, right? And the officers only. No, there's the family of the individual who was shot. There's the neighbors of the individual who was shot because they knew this individual. There's the community that's now impacted by that entire incident that had to watch a body lay in the street for hours during an investigation. There's a family that, like, you know what I mean? So we don't recognize the residual impact overall. Now that's the negative frame. Now, if you think about the 100 and some families, individuals who are really going to be impacted by the guaranteed income program, that's not just like you said, that's not just 100 individuals, that's 100 families. And then by those 100 families getting what they need, it impacts their overall community and then overall the local economy. I think we don't talk enough about residual impact enough in a positive manner. We always talk about it in a negative, kind of like the example I gave. But I think, like, speaking to what you said, that also makes sense. But people don't think of it like that. Like SNAP benefits, right? The whole reason, like, what did Tupac say? People gonna get tired of walking and chanting, "Let me in, feed us, we hungry," and in a minute they're gonna be kicking in the door and coming to take the food, right? I don't think we recognize, like, and that was so poetic, right? Because he's a, like, major lyricist who I respect a lot. We don't recognize that, like, that's real for people.
Surviving. People are surviving.
Yeah. Serving people direct needs is a matter of public safety, but we have people whose ideology is so old that they say, well, public safety is policing, quality of life is policing. No.
Hell no.
We are grown enough, adult enough, and advanced enough as a race of human beings, people on this earth, to know that police and fire are not the only things that increase quality of life or public safety in a community. But because we still have that ideology muddling around the edges of progressive work, we get stuck, right? We get stuck in these, like, dominant old traditionalist narratives that don't do anything for us. So I appreciate, like, all of the work you all do, Mary, Carlos, Patty, Nicole, like, and there are more of you all out there. We just need more of us. Trying to figure out, here in our little enclave of Antioch with 100,000 plus people and growing, because we are building more housing for people who eventually won't be able to afford the housing in a while, right? Like, capitalism is gonna exist, but, like, we are not the 1%. So everybody, the people in the $1 million homes, the $500,000 homes, to the $300,000 homes, to the renter, to the homeless, we all gonna have to figure it out in a minute, or else we gonna be pitching a tent on the railroad.
For real.
Right.
Yeah. And shout out to you too. Yes, we are advocates, but you're at the front lines. Yep. You've been taking a lot of heat for quite some years, but you're sitting in the seat where our community needs you. And
but you know what, Patty? God is so good. It's like vindication from all sides, right? Yes. I had to actually sit in a room the other day with an officer that trespassed on my property and violated the rights of my family, which was super traumatizing for me. And I wasn't there in that space for me. I was there in that space to talk about the safety of young people. Human trafficking woman Wilson was in that meeting. And so I kind of had to suck it up and like do what I needed to do in that moment, but also get home and recognize that, like, this person traumatized me and my family. And even though I'm like vindicated, people like, you feel vindicated. I don't feel vindicated from what happened with the police department. I just feel like somebody should have did something before other people got hurt, right? And so, like, I think we all gonna have those type of things that happen to us in the city, where we're gonna find ourselves in spaces with people who have either hurt us or the people we care about. I didn't vote for this. I did not vote for this, right? I'm sure none of us voted for what's going on right now.
Right.
And even the people who voted for it, they still in community with us, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not going to hunt anybody down to change anybody's hearts and minds. But when I'm riding on Highway 4 going into Martinez and I see a big pickup truck for no other reason than to be a big pickup truck with baby drill on it, I know that person isn't somebody that's gonna come to their senses anytime soon, right?
No.
What we also need to recognize is that the KKK didn't go away, right? Like the KKK didn't go away. Historically, they just became police. Well, now they are ICE officers.
My mom.
And like that's what's going on, right? Like they're ICE officers, bounty hunters are going. You know what I mean? Like all of these people with masks, they're not law enforcement, but they're the modern day KKK. They're dragging people out of their homes and out of their communities and jobs, right?
Courtrooms.
Right.
I mean, look at how ballsy that is.
My mom's an American citizen, and last night she said, "Mija, what are we gonna do just in case I get deported?" I was like, "Mom, like you're legal." She's like, "But I came over here illegally." I was like, "Mom, like you're good, you're okay. Let somebody come and try to let it happen, Mom." But there's the
Have you seen that they're talking about deporting advocates and people that protest and things like that as well?
Yeah. It's they're talking about a denaturalization process and all of this and that. It's like what we really have to realize is if we allow this to happen to others, right? It's kind of what Mary was saying when we first came on. It's like a good friend of mine, Andrea Neal, who passed away from cancer, Antioch resident, advocate for mobility labs and women who have been sex trafficked and all of those things, and advocate around gun violence and decarceration. What she would say is you don't really start to say anything about the issues until you affect it. So you can't be effective until you're affected, right? Is what she used to say. And that is so true because most people are absolutely active bystanders doing absolutely nothing until it happens to them. And so for those of us who consider ourselves American citizens, we were born here, for us to think that they won't have an avenue to come after us next is an absolutely ridiculous premise. And so I'm not telling us to put ourselves in danger, but we have to do something. And that's the important narrative is if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything. I guess that's what it is. And so I think like locally hold us accountable, right? Hold us accountable locally, at the county level and at the state level, because at this point it's starting to feel like the only leverage we have, even though we have assembly members and members in the Senate and Congress members who want to come down and do town halls and march in our parades, right? Like Adam Schiff want to come march in the 4th of July parade, right? Adam Schiff, what are you doing?
I want to boycott the 4th of July.
That is going to productively, right? Like, what are you doing that's going to productively impact citizens of Antioch? You want to march in our parade. We want to know what are you going to do for us, right? Other than a photo op. And so, and I know he a Democrat and all of this thing, but we got to get out of this Republican Democrat binary. Also, racism. If we stay in a black and white binary around racism, we also continue to do ourselves a disservice, right? So we have to get away from these binary systems. We got to start talking about this at a global level because Antioch is going to be impacted. And if you think it won't happen to me, when you marry Joe, your exotic wife, right? You speak Spanish. You're a white man who speaks Spanish fluently, right? Like these type of things that we have to think about is like, no, it's gonna happen. And who are you gonna want by your side when it does? It should be us. It should be the community.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's how we.
And Carlos with tacos. So we don't go hungry while we out there fighting for justice.
And Nicole with the spaghetti.
Protesting.
Yeah. Girl. And then we have Mary tapped in to come after the Karens. Oh well, I don't really like using that term because I think like using the term.
I hate the word Karen.
I don't like that term because it reduces something. It reduces white fragility, which is absolutely dangerous to communities of color and indigenous communities, to a joke. And so what we really need to just acknowledge it as is white fragility, which is dangerous, not Karenism. So I don't call people Karen.
It's Karen to me. I don't care what nobody say, okay? You could take it however you want to. I know what I mean when I say it, okay?
I don't use it, but we know we got married as ready.
I get called a Karen anytime I disagree with anyone. Oh, you're just a Karen.
It's not about a disagreement.
I know, but they want to use it. They want to use that just because I'm a middle-aged white woman. Period.
That's not all, and they don't know what it means. Then that's not what I mean by it.
Look,
no, I
just gotta say, I'm happy to have a middle-aged white woman on. I'm happy to have a middle-aged white woman on speed dial.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
We're safe.
I'm happy to be your speed dial. You let me know when you need me.
Yes.
That's so funny. Yeah.
Oh,
Just don't call me Karen.
Oh.
I'm gonna get going short. I'm gonna take.
Well, thank y'all for having me, Patty. I'll be in Arizona soon.
Okay.
Yay.
I'll be in California.
Oh, she's gonna make us all jealous.
I'll see you all.
Patty, you
very
said
soon.
you coming out here or she going out there?
Both.
Wow.
When are you coming to Arizona?
What if she's coming
In
when you're?
August. Cool.
Oh, August.
I'll be in California the weekend of July 18th. So I will see you all that Friday. July 18th.
Oh, yeah, let's do something.
Free. Hey, we could do tailgaters.
Yeah, let's turn up.
Yeah.
What you talking about? Oh God, Carlos.
Tailgaters.
Our last tailgaters event. It was so bad.
Everybody in the city there.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, we get off.
Everybody in the city was there last time we went. It was fun. It was fun though. It was real fun. But we got to do something when you come down, Patty, for real.
Most definitely catch up and
Are you just gonna be here for the weekend?
Hey.
Yeah, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe Monday.
I have a pool party to go to that weekend. We're gonna celebrate our work for the march.
Oh, yeah, as you should.
Yeah.
We should celebrate every march and uplift and protest because that's how we Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I love you guys.
I love y'all.
Thanks for letting me be on tonight.
Much love to you all.
You want
Oh, I hate the 4th of July parade. My Tamisha, I'm going to say it again because I'm an asshole. I love to watch Alan Payton look like a lost old man in the 4th of July parade, how he kind of zigzags back and forth and doesn't look like he belongs there. It makes me laugh every damn time.
You know he's going to be in a little dunk tank thing too. So
I'll pay 50 cents
No, I'm
for that
going to spend my whole paycheck on drowning his ass.
I won't spend.
Well, thank you
bad
all
for the
for
water.
having me.
Thank you on the show, you guys.
Thank you
Mary,
for
don't
taking your
forget the
time out
No
of your
King.
busy
We need a
day.
No King sign.
Right.
What do you want to know, Kings? What?
A No King sign for the 4th of July parade on Friday.
Oh, I can get that happening. I think that's fantastic. Thank you.
Love it.
I got work to do.
She gave you a task.
All right.
All right.
All right, Miss Patty, you want to close this out?
Let's see. Yeah. Thank you all for your time out of your busy days and busy schedules. Change doesn't happen overnight, but with amazing advocates with hearts that empathize with the real struggles and historical impacts that got us to where we are of products of our environments. Thank you all. And to everybody watching out there, like, join us, join the fight, use your voice, use your social media, use your voter's card. Okay. That's how we're going to make this shit happen.
Right. And shout out to
Bring your birth certificate.
I wanted to say and you guys kept mentioning tailgaters, so now I want to give them a shout out to tailgaters and that Mac Daddy cheeseburger you guys have. If you guys don't know, then If you know, you know. But if not, yeah.
We'll be out there.
Anyway,
They got pretty damn good fried pickles too.
right.
Mm.
All
Good night,
right.
everybody.
See y'all.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.